Incidentally, I do have 2 questions that just came in as well.
Yes, I have lots of them.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that you have lots of them.
So we need to get to them.
Yes, this one's from a subscriber.
More than 2 million people are out of work in Britain, the country's highest unemployment rate in 12 years, official data has shown. Unemployment rose to 6.5% in 3 months ending in December. Britain is weathering its first recession in 18 years. Any comments on that, please?
There's a song that the Carpenters made. It's Only Just Begun. It's a wonderful song.
Yes.
And that's exactly what's going on with unemployment and the economic situation in what is known as the United Kingdom. And it is going to get very, very bad there. And in Ireland and in Spain as well. They will be the leaders in Western Europe into the Great Dark Pit. They will get hit harder and faster than any of the other countries. They will be followed by or paralleled by Eastern Europe and Greece. And Eastern Europe includes a number of countries. And that's Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary. And I put Greece in with that group. But they're coming down the pike, and they're on their way. This is going to be very, very, very bad. And again, I told you earlier in the program, please mentally get ready and physically get ready for the worst, because it is going to be terrible.
Okay, you can ask your question, then I'll ask one of mine.
Oh, thank you, Melody.
We'll go back and forth.
I've been listening to another person who is predicting a bank holiday and a run on banks to happen this month. Well, I'm glad that Gerald Celente knows that, because I don't. And I think that could happen, but I don't know when. And I really don't think it can happen that quickly. But I like Gerald. He's done some great work. I think he's wrong on this one. And so I don't agree with him. And he says here, out of all the countries in Latin America, which country would you recommend is going to be the safest from Big Brother? Well, the safest place for Americans. You know, it's really hard to say, because Americans, the State Department and the United States government have so infiltrated every government in the world, and it's hard to escape it. I mean, you can go to a country like Brazil or Argentina and find that the Americans are monitoring all of your electronic communications. And you say to yourself, well, how is that? How could that be? And the reason why is the politicians in office, illuminists, they play ball with the United States. So, there's no place really that safe. Is there places that are liable to have less trouble than others? Yes. I think Brazil and Argentina will be upside down. They're going to have terrible problems because of population, and they already have high crime rates to start off with. Colombia will be a mess. And you've got governments in Bolivia and Ecuador that aren't worth 5 cents. They're Marxists, and as well as Venezuela. And I don't hold a lot of hope out for them. They're going to have a tough time, especially if they're importing food like Venezuela does, even though they're producing oil. I think Chile and Uruguay and South America should do okay. Panama should do okay. Costa Rica and Mexico. Mexico can handle their problems. And so you still got some choices. And it all depends on what kind of climate you want and things like that.
Well, Mexico can handle their problems because they always have problems.
That's right.
To it.
That's right. And in the standard of living,
nobody has anything to lose.
That's right. Excellent comments, because when you're making $500 or $600 a month, how much worse is it going to be if you're making $400? So, and that's not the case for the most part in those other places I just mentioned. And anyway, it said, would you be here we go. What would be a good calendar date to vacation in South America? Well, in South America, below the equator, they're just entering winter now. So you got to keep that in mind. So that's not the tourist season. Of course, it's the least expensive season. And so it would depend, I think, in part on weather. I would start taking trips. And they don't have to be long trips. Take 10-day trips. And remember that South America juts out into the Atlantic. And in Argentina, the time zones are 2 zones behind New York. So think about that. And but I would go to each country and take a look. I suppose perhaps you're retired, so you could do that. And so you got to find out when summer is, because it's the most pleasant time in Latin America. And it's the most pleasant time in Europe too. I mean, Europe only gets, you won't believe this, they get 60 days of sunshine a year. Think about that. So you got to time it right. And you may not get a summer in Europe either. I lived there years where they never had a summer. And the second one...
Oh, it's my turn.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
AIG...
Age before beauty, huh?
This is about AIG. AIG's Liddy... Ken Jaworski asked AIG's Liddy why AIG did not stall for time by filing suit in court to contest AIG's liability to pay under the derivative contract. So Jaworski doesn't know the contracts are legally unenforceable. Therefore, the reason AIG did not file a lawsuit to contest the payment. Liddy responded AIG could not let the derivatives business go under. If the public ever learns the bailout money went to pay contracts between AIG and Goldman, AIG and Deutsche, etc., that were private contracts unenforceable in a court of law?
Well, first of all, the salaries were mandated in an amendment to the stimulus bill put in by dear old Senator Dodd of Connecticut. And he received, I think there was the highest figure from AIG. This is, campaign contributions, which are really political payoffs. He received the highest of any person in government. And that was $130,000. Obama got $103,000. It's in today's forecaster. It's all there. And so, he went and put this earmark, if you want to call it that, this amendment in, and it said they had to honor the contracts. You talk about a slippery eel. I mean, this guy is a scumbag. And so that's how they're justifying it. And, of course, the public outcry is unbelievable. And so the Treasury is doing the fast shuffle, figuring, what are we going to do now? So they had to come out and say, yeah, we want the money back. And there won't be anything legal about it. They just go and take it. And you say, either give me the money or we're going to go and take it from you. And they should have never got the money. I mean, they ruined the company. And, but they don't want it investigated to come into the public because they were laundering money for the last 70 years. It was a money laundering operation for the United States government, the CIA. That's what it was. And it was a cover for CIA operatives all over the world. And how do I know that? You know how I know that.
And a comment came in that says no one ever mentions that AIG was the insurance company that insured the Twin Towers specifically against terrorism a month or so before 9/11 happened. and then paid off on the tower's collapses twice based on friendly lawsuit between friends, Larry Silverstein, who owned the towers, and his buddy, Maurice Greenberg.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. Maurice Greenberg and Silverstein, they are absolute criminals. They just wear suits. That's all. And they traipse around and on CNBC. And I got a report from one of my guys in New York City. It's in this issue. Greenberg is still running AIG out of Star International out of Panama. I mean, once you're in the outfit, you're never out. Okay? What do I mean?